So apparently this is peak male happiness, and that's coming from the Elon Musk Tesla fanboys. You got a couple cars, a Tesla Cybertruck being one of them. You got a Tesla robot, you got a dog on your bed, you got weights in the room, and you got your computer. I mean, what more could you possibly need? Peak male happiness right there. Elon Musk then would also suggest, of course, you need your robot girlfriend. So he tweets out these pictures nonstop of various images you can generate with his chatbots. Here's another one. A little understanding between us and the world will be so much more pleasant. That's coming from his Grok thing. And then you also got Elon saying, Cybertruck steel is bulletproof to any handgun, shotgun, or Tommy gun. So I guess if you want to protect yourself from Tommy guns, that's the car for you. And then you got Elon and his fanboys are now in Australia.
Apparently Teslas have full self-driving in Australia now, so I'm here to test it out and see if it's actually good. If this Tesla can completely drive itself, I'm swapping. I'm so overdriving. That's actually kind of sexy. Ooh. I guess there's nothing else to do but to see how well it fully self-drives itself. Let's go. Just went to change gear and there's no gear stick. I'm just putting in the address. Now I guess it's gonna go there. I've got so much trust in this thing and I've been in it for 1 minute. We're a few minutes in now and I have not touched it. Oh, that was ballsy.
Okay, so if you trust Elon and within 1 minute, and also I guess if you want a car that drives ballsy, there you go. try Tesla self-driving. That's from Elon Musk. We're starting with this today because I want you to think about, regardless of where the future goes, it's going to take power. And especially in the Elon Musk fanboy world, look at all that. You remember in that picture, it was a robot, a couple cars, you got your computer, all those lights, etc. It takes power. And this issue actually came up today because they're addressing that, believe it or not, in the White House. It says, big tech companies to meet Trump at White House to sign pledge on data center power costs. This comes from CNBC. Trump mentioned in the speech, and then I guess all these execs are going to be meeting Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, XAI, so that'd be Elon Musk, Oracle, OpenAI at the White House next week. Interesting. Even Karen Levitt then is saying President Trump announces deals to have tech companies shoulder burden of AI data costs. Okay. And listen to see what Trump had to say about this.
Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years.
So this is actually a very interesting issue because Trumpers here, he's got a couple political things to worry about. Now, the average American's probably not going to like that your electricity goes up, or the average American's not going to like all of these, data centers. And so he'll try to convince you that more data centers, if they build their own power, would lower your rates. I think the logic there is a little bit strange. I get the point. And so then they'll say we have to deregulate everything, and therefore likely your water and your air is going to be in bad shape. So there's going to be a trade-off there. And I kind of doubt that your electricity costs would go down. I'm doubting that one. What's interesting, even Fox News was addressing this issue.
A growing fight from coast to coast. The rapid expansion of data centers now pitting big tech against local homeowners. Many communities are pushing back, saying enough is enough. Joining us now is Elena Schlossberg. She's the director of the Coalition to Protect Prince William County in Virginia. We're going to show a map here so that everybody can see the area that we're talking about. Why don't you describe the project as you understand it and why you're against it?
So the Digital Gateway is proposed next to the most historic national park in the country, the Manassas National Battlefield. It's on historic land. It is in a drinking water supply watershed for the region that includes almost 1 million people. And it simply is in the wrong place. And it was done without proper oversight. The Board of Supervisors, in a lame duck vote, because 2 of them had been voted out, passed it in spite of the fact that there was a problem with the simple notification. And, you know, what we're saying is it's not in the right place. Not only is it not in the right place, they don't know how much water this 1,900 acres of data center development. It's the largest in the world. We don't know how much water. They wouldn't disclose that. They wouldn't disclose where the buildings are. We are guessing how much power. We know there's at least 12 substations. We're talking about at least 6. We are estimating 6 gigawatts of power.
So that's Fox News. They're even talking about this issue, which is pretty interesting because usually Fox is kind of pushing the corporate line, but here they're actually letting someone speak about the problems with data centers. And when you dig in this further, it turns out that they actually talk like normal people when you address this issue. Listen a little bit more here.
Where on the political spectrum politicians are falling on this, because I've been following this all across the country, and it's very interesting because local communities seem to be saying, wait, hold on a second. How do you put into context your local, state, and federal government representatives for your project?
So what we have found is this is a totally nonpartisan issue. I was once seen hugging the most conservative Republican on the House floor in the General Assembly in Virginia, and somebody commented, hell must have frozen over that Elena and Delegate Bob Marshall are hugging over this issue of unconstrained data center development, putting too much pressure on our grid, too much pressure on our other resources. And the reality is what Secretary Wright is suggesting is that these data center campuses rely on their diesel generators. And that happened. That happened during the storm that came through just 2 weeks ago. And you have communities that are next to data center campuses that are relying on gas generators that are the same as listening to a jet turbine engine. And these diesel generators are kicking on and spewing out all sorts of pollutants. And it's not sustainable.
So again, I'm actually really surprised they're showing this stuff on Fox News. They talk like normal people. They seem to be concerned about the environment. And it shows you that there is actually real pushback, even from Fox and Republicans, on this particular data center issue. So keep an eye on this one. I'll be curious what happens next week when, all the tech bros show up. We'll see. Chances are, if I had to bet, though, they'll try to deregulate everything, and you may see more power plants or turbines or whatever in your neighborhood. And I know Trump doesn't want clean energy, so that's going to be a real issue going forward. If you want to move away from the data center stuff, but you still want to have your AI, you may end up putting these chatbot stuff and AI stuff on your computer locally. So Anthropic made a move today. This is just a few minutes ago they announced it. Anthropic acquires Vercept to advance Claude's computer use capabilities. And this is actually pretty similar to China's DeepSeek. I think they can do the same kind of thing. It's basically, again, you're not relying necessarily on the cloud computing. You're just put it out locally. And then this is from Vercept. It says Vercept is joining Anthropic. When we started Vercept, we set out to build AI that works differently on your computer, not in a distant cloud, but right alongside you. Understanding your screen, your workflows, and your intent, we believe the future of human-computer interaction would be shaped by AI that could see what you see, act on your behalf, safely and transparently. Apparently, that mission hasn't changed. It found a bigger home. So you could argue that this could be a combination of OpenClaw and DeepSeek. It runs on your local machine. At least that's what it sounds like to me, because it says AI that works directly on your computer. Now, along with this acquisition, and again, this was just announced, you also have to understand that a lot of this is based on debt. Defense and AI spending sends global debt to record $348 trillion. It is pretty wild out there. There's going to be massive power needs for all this stuff. Again, Trump doesn't want clean energy, so that certainly we have a problem with that. First solar share slide as tariff demand woes bite, so not enough solar power, right? They're struggling over there. And then Politico had a really interesting piece on this. It says, here's a reality check on Trump's AI pledge. And they're talking about how many data centers are going to be in the USA. Nearly 680 data centers are being planned in the United States, according to data firm CleanView, requiring the energy equivalent of 186 large nuclear power plants. So that's a pretty big energy need. if we're going to go through with all these things planned. Clearly, we don't have enough on the grid. I mean, you could see it for yourself. 680 data centers need 186 large nuclear power plants. Good luck with that. The waiting list for gas turbines, the most common way of generating electricity for both power plants and data centers, stretched out 5 years. So it's hard to even get enough of that. That's why they're going to deregulate all kinds of stuff. So the amount of money we're talking about here, the largest U.S. technology companies project they'll spend $600 billion on AI infrastructure, including data centers in 2026. And then here's a quote from someone at the Better Data Center Project. They say, there's a lot of ways that these can cause increased rates that are outside of just paying for the very obvious. Direct interconnection and potential new generation costs. Okay. Part of the risk is the potential financial burden facing customers if Silicon Valley's big AI dreams fall through. Here's an interesting quote then. You spend $3 billion upgrading the grid. Then the data center doesn't materialize, or that data center doesn't take as much electricity as it was expecting. Who's left holding the bag? It's grandma. So chances are you're going to pay for it, but we'll see, right? The big tech is meeting with Trump, and we'll see how this thing plays out. I'm always skeptical what they say, but I just show you what it is. And when you'll look at the big companies, they'll say, "Hey guys, we got these new data centers." This come from Meta just a few days ago. So today we're breaking ground on a new state-of-the-art data center in Lebanon, Indiana. But this is one of many of these type of things. And then when you ask regular people, what do they think about AI? This was coming out today. Top earners are more afraid for their employment than lower income as AI threat increases. Basically, people are just worried that AI is going to take their job, and people are less likely, at least in the white-collar jobs, to move around. So that's what's going, meaning change jobs. So that's what's going on. I'd like to hear your thoughts on any one of these things, and we'll watch for this meeting with big tech and Trump. And I'll catch you all in the next video.